Good afternoon, everybody. It is Saturday, the 8th of October 2022. Right. If you watched the video that I did on Russia, Ukraine several months ago now, I was looking at Putin and Zelensky and what sort of characters they might be. Today I wanted to do an update on the Russia-Ukraine situation, mainly because of this talk that's come out in the media that Joe Biden has been recorded talking about nuclear war becoming an option. That I believe he said something along the lines that Putin wouldn't hesitate to press the button and that nuclear war was a real possibility. Now, back all those months ago when I did the video on Russia and Ukraine situation, nuclear war was not at that time going to be a thing. Now, when you read tarot cards, you read the energy of the time. I can't predict the future, but what I do vaguely remember saying, and I haven't watched this video back, but something that stuck in my mind from that video is that perhaps the Ukraine would owe Russia an apology. Right, after the messages that I received this morning, I really needed to sort of come out here and have a look at the cards and see what the cards have to say about the energy of now and whether nuclear war is actually a real possibility. In my lifetime, I've worn many hats and one of those hats was as an historian. And when we look at situations like now, we don't just look at what's happening now. You look at the history of the region, you look at the geopolitics, you look at the economics surrounding that, and you look at every factor in play. Things have moved on since then. In the last 2 years, in order to know this situation, there is information that we need to have, which we are not getting. And the main reason for that is that the nature of media has changed exponentially. And big tech has a huge stake in what we see and the knowledge that is disseminated to us. So I'm not going to even go off my own political view on Russia and Ukraine. I am just going to go straight into the cards and see what the cards have to say about nuclear war. Is it an option? So today I have the Angel Wisdom Tarot by Radley Valentine to help me. I have the Animal Spirit deck by Kim Krantz to help me. I have the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reid to help me, and I have Postcards from Spirit, which I don't have the box out on the table, also by Colette Baron Reid. The Angel Wisdom Tarot I've separated between minor and major arcana cards so that we can have a look at the story of now. What's happening, what's in the psyche of Zelensky and what's in the psyche of Putin. But we have to look on a wider and through a wider lens here, because it isn't Zelensky and Putin, it's Putin and the rest of the world. And the fact that we have lots of things in play here, like the energy situation and European alliance on Russian gas and oil, and the fact that the USA, the powers that be in the USA, have sold a lot of their reserves, which is having an impact. So, where shall I start? I'm going to start with a postcard from Spirit. So, my own feeling about nuclear war is one of not being, I'm not alarmed. I don't feel any alarm. The last time I felt alarm about the possibility of nuclear war was during the 80s, when actually we were still living in the Cold War, and there was a siege at the Iranian embassy in London, and at that time, I don't know how old I was, maybe about 15 or 16, and there was a huge fear then that that siege would lead to some sort of nuclear war. Now, that didn't happen. But even in school, we had, we watched films about nuclear war. I remember a cartoon we were made to sit and watch called When the Wind Blows. And we were looking at Nagasaki and Hiroshima and the effects of nuclear war. And I also remember the nuclear disaster in the Chernobyl power plant. And I believe in the area of Chernobyl, radiation levels are still very, very high, many decades on. Okay. So, for young people out there, there's 4 that have come out, and I just want to know which one. So, let's just see which one. So, for young people who are actually really concerned that we will be no more very soon, I actually get that. But I'm not feeling any cause for panic. But I do want to delve into the cards and see what the energy is. Oh, it's that one. That's hot. The energy is of the tarot right now, and the energy of now, and the possibility of nuclear war in the near future. So let me just read this postcard from Spirit. Dearest you, there is only one you, and you have a unique path and a special purpose. You're supposed to have specific experiences in this world and meet certain people, but then it is up to you how you live, how awake you choose to be, and how willing you are to grow and strip away what's false. Don't compare yourself to others. It's easy to think a person is happier just because their outside looks good according to society's standards, but you can't know anyone's internal experiences. Compare yourself only to your past self. See how far you've come. Don't be distracted by what others are doing or accomplishing. Stay focused on what inspires you. That's how you get successful and find happiness. Want what you have now, not what someone else has. We love you immensely and know your journey ahead is sparkling with miracles and wondrous things. Trust. So, to me, that is basically saying, get your head out of the newspapers, turn the news off on the television, and get on with now, this present moment, because what will happen hasn't happened yet. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet, and yesterday is history. It no longer exists. And the more we all live more in the present instead of being worried about the past or the future, the happier everyone will be. That's much easier said than done. But a little tip for that is, if you find yourself constantly mentally rehearsing fear of what might happen, and you're nervously scrolling or reading to try and find out what's going to happen next, you're waiting for something bad to happen. Don't do that, because that's manifesting. Where you place your energy, where you place your attention, makes the possibility greater. So if you place your energy and your intent and your attention onto something that is fulfilling you, giving you happiness, rather than the reverse of that, in life you manifest that more. It becomes more magnified. The more you worry about something, the more you magnify it. It sends a message to the universe that you want more of the same, and you get more of the same. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take a major arcana for... I don't know whether I ought to do Putin and Zelensky, because it's not really it's not really a war of individuals. This is more worldwide than we give it credit for, because there's a sort of a gang up situation going on here. You have one country butting up against almost the rest of the world. You have the whole of Europe demonising Putin and his actions, for good or for bad, for, rightly or wrongly. But there is an economic reason for this. There is a geopolitical reason for this. There is historical reasons for this. And without that knowledge, which we aren't going to be given, because it doesn't serve the purpose of people who need us to be on their side. War only happens when it has public consent. War only happens when it has public consent. So I want to look at, I'm just going to ask, are we on the brink of a nuclear war? Too many. Are we on the brink of nuclear war? And I know the answer to that is not just a plain yes or no. It will depend on a number of factors. So we're not going to get a yes or a no. It will be more complicated than that. So I'm not going to get an answer. And what I already know, I'm not going to get an answer. So I need to change my question. Can we change this? Can we change this? We have the star. And the answer to that is yes. But it has conditions. In order for us to change the situation, healing has to be done. The star card is about healing. It's an Aquarius card. It's the card for Aquarius. And I know that Putin is a Libra, but I don't know what sign Zelensky is. And I don't know what sign the countries are. Excuse me. The star. There is going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm feeling some sort of agreement, appeasement, some sort of talks. But I'm not feeling that it's Putin that's going to completely capitulate. I think there's going to be give and take, because if you look at both of the urns that are pouring water, That's all give. But in the original star card, the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, the angel is pouring water onto the ground and into the water, nourishing the ground and the water. Oh, actually, they're still doing that. If you look closely, water going into the ground and the water on the water. There are going to be some changes, some positive changes. So, although we haven't got a yes or no question, nuclear war, I'm still not feeling nuclear war is at a thought. I think maybe it's possible that, and another one. It's possible that what we're being told, what's being reported right now, is to facilitate our support for further sanctions or further militarization in that area. But the thing with the support is, at the moment, the support is weapons and money, and the Western world is fast running out of money. But we know that war generates economic prosperity. So we have the Page of Swords. Pages are messengers. Swords are about the intellect, the mind, the thoughts, the perception. It's about documents. So there is healing to be had, and there's healing to be had here, and the future is much brighter. But there might be some issues with some documents. Now I'm wondering whether there's a treaty being drawn up, or behind the scenes there is some sort of treaty being drawn up. Definitely feels like paperwork, an agreement in its infancy, because pages are young people. This is yeah, so there is going to be healing. Things are going to get better. The future is going to be brighter, and some sort of agreement is in the making right now. And then we have the Three of Wands. This is about planning, looking ahead to the future. It's on about a new world. I think we're going to have some agreement is going to be made between Russia and the rest of the world, if you like, although it's not the rest of the world, but a large proportion of the world. Some sort of treaty or agreement is in the making, and which will incorporate long-term planning. Long-term planning. Let's have a look at an animal. Excuse me. I have had COVID and I still feel really, really rough. This is not the first time I've had it, it's the second. And I've just got off my bed, thrown a bit of mascara on, and tried to judge myself up a bit so I don't look like death warmed up, because I needed to do this reading. And I still feel really rough. So, okay, something's about to come out because I've got the, okay. I'll just keep talking and it'll come out. So according to these cards, the energy right now is that there is some sort of move to start to draw up some sort of agreement, a treaty. A long-term agreement and treaty that will heal the situation and heal the rift between the East and the West. I've got a right, okay, some information is going to come out that is going to turn the status quo on its head, and it's coming from the West. I mean, okay, another one. Okay, so not that one. Okay, it's going to turn the world on its head. The West has been prosperous for a very, very long time, and nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. And okay, it's almost as though the West is eating itself. Right, okay, the West is eating itself. Right now we're self-harming, and right now the energy is very antsy. It's very fireflies are very sort of the buzzy and very quick and fast, and this is all talking about tension, irritability. But it feels like it's the people that are getting more irritated, and well, yeah, I mean, that's understandable, isn't it? You know, you've been told that you're going to have nuclear war anytime soon. Okay, so we have the irritability, the worry, the panic of World War III obliterating the face of the earth, and in comes the whale to cool down the situation, to slow things down, to wash away the tension. It's going to turn out okay. It's going to turn out okay. We need our leaders to lead, and we need our leaders to work for us and do what we want them to do. I don't believe anybody on this planet wants a nuclear war, and that includes Putin. I just don't believe anybody wants nuclear war. Oh, there's too many. Can you just give me... Okay, shuffle again. Really don't believe that. I mean, and all these sort of posturing from Kim Jong-un in North Korea is posturing. It's a show of strength. It's a show of might. It's flexing your muscles. It's a don't mess with us message. And should we actually be meddling in anybody else's lives, in anybody else's world, in anybody else's countries, and the way that they do things? It's up to the people in those countries to change it. And people are becoming brave, and they are protesting. People have had enough of being led down the garden path. We know over the last 2 years that certain corruptions in certain countries has been sort of expertly hidden, but it's coming to light now. So my best advice to you is to put it all to one side. It's all going to be all right. There's 4 out. I'm just going to choose one. Two, that one. Happy, happy. Number 26. Happy, happy. Let's have a read of that then. So these cards aren't miserable. Normally they come out and they, you know, they're usually very relevant to what I'm talking about. And this fear of nuclear war, I'm not feeling it. It's not going to happen. Happy, happy. Okay. Your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present. Find joy in the present moment. Find joy in the present moment. Do what you want to do now. Don't be stuck on the news, the media, the newspapers, the social media, all this scaremongering. Do what makes you happy now. Do more of that. Elevate that. Whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing, able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment. You have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. Sorry. I've got muck on my hands from saging. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. This is a time to take pride in your accomplishments. You are doing good work, providing exceptional service, and are well compensated for it. The world rains gratitude upon you, and you're happy with the results of your efforts and creativity. Isn't it amazing to consider all that you have done? Remember your partnership with Spirit in this moment too. Your soul has always known you could accomplish anything if it brought you joy. And for those of you who want a relationship message, there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with, and you know your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card in a reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in the future. The grass is greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship. If you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of itself, like bees to honey. If you're worried, you will attract more worry. If you are happy with your lot in life, you will attract more happiness. If you are, what's this? Okay. If you are enjoying the moment, the now, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, and remaining in that mindset, you will attract more of that to you. The more of us that do that, it becomes infectious. I don't know if I've ever talked about it before, but there are lots and lots of research about people who meditate for peace. In the Middle East, it's happened in the Middle East where 1,000 meditators, really experienced meditators, have gone to the Middle East and they have sat and they have meditated for peace. And during that time that they have meditated, crime went down, looting went down, not a shot was fired, violence had been totally quieted down for that time, because 1,000 people together concentrated on peace. If more of us did that, then we can affect change in a way that we can't see, in a way that we can't feel, but no, it affects peace. And I am sure there are lots of content on YouTube from specific meditation people who do meditations for peace. And I know there's one for Russia and Ukraine. And the more of you that join that at the time that's set for you in your region, the more people with the intention of peace, that will become infectious. That when we're at each other's throats, when we're looking at them and us, when we are making ourselves different to everyone else, when we are separate, when we are separate and we are fractured, the world and the psyche of the world becomes fractured and brings an inlet for war. So, hope that helped. I hope that helps you to stop worrying about nuclear war, because the energy right now, it's a big fat no. It looks as though there are already moves to draw up some sort of treaty. It's in its infancy, but it's coming. Trust me, it's coming. So, have a lovely Saturday. Take care, be kind. Ta-ra.